Sorry, comrades. Comrades, koparere tsane ka kgona ke ra simolla ke rona le tsatsi.
Good day, Madikolo. Welcome to our first ever, the long-awaited 2024-2025 SRC debate. My name is Akomoto Palmosebua. I'll be your moderator for today. I'm with Tepiso Mutuli. And the portfolio that we're doing today is student affairs. We have 3 candidates from 3 student movements. We have Monaba Ituti, we have UB,
Equalata student movement. Yes.
Equalata student movement, and we have
my name is Mudir Mutsahwe, the outgoing SRC Minister of Sports. My journey in student leadership or leadership as a whole does not start here and does not end here. As a Minister of Sports, I did and I served very well, even though not in a function. But I've developed a backbone I can withstand any pressure or any separation or the mandate because we took oath for a and it's unfortunate for leaders they put their general of the Monmouth Foundation, a new foundation lowering it helps and I'm also I've started my journey here student leadership 0479 when I first entered in this university. I was the deputy HOH. I later on served as a student peer orientator or barracking, and most importantly, I like to identify as a solution and a passionate student fighting bachelor's in the science and wellness level 300 in the University of Botswana with no academic risk or academic dishonesty cases. Anyways, with strong commitment to leadership and community development, I am actively involved in different leadership roles. I'm currently serving as the resident assistant of Block 479. I'm currently the reigning Minister University of Botswana. I also serve as the managing director for Reality Break, a company that runs with mental health issues. I'm also an advocate for mental health. I'm also an advocate for youth leadership, and I'm a youth leader myself. So ladies and gentlemen, in my professional experience as I've outlined, I dedicate my passion in dealing with issues related to mental health, in dealing with issues related to advocacy leadership, as well as academics or learning holistically. So I present myself once again as Franz Kahongoma, a candidate for the Ministry of Student Affairs, ticketing from GS26. I check.
Over to Mr. Martin.
Also known as Comrade Yo. It's our Equalata Student Movement ex UBCD. DSM ex UBCD. Viva DSM Viva!
Viva!
I must firstly profile myself as an engineer. I'm a level 300 student who is an engineer. As an engineer, I'm a problem solver. So I'm an expert in database also. So as an engineer who has also been a class rep, I can tell you that I've been advocating for students, I've been advocating for change, I've been running the runs through the back doors, I've been with students, handling problems and trying to strive for finding initiatives that will solve those problems. So as the Equalata Student Movement, ex-UBCD, we are a movement who believes in ushering a new change. We are a movement who believes in delivering back to the student. We want to give back to the student community. We are the only movement which has not been given a chance to stand for elections. So we come to say we are here to stand again, or we are here collaborating, saying vote for us and vote for change.
Right. We are going to now going to proceed to presentation of manifesto point. I'm going to give you guys 10 minutes each for you guys to present your manifesto so the students will hear. Yes. I'll start with you and then go.
Thank you once again, Madam Moderator. Firstly, we need to understand that our message this year from the GS26 is reset multiple agenda. We are saying that student leadership that has only been advocated for years should come to an end. We now want implementations, we want new approaches, or we now want to prioritize in establishments or in bringing in initiatives that we are so sure that we are going to be able to deliver. The reset multiple agenda is a top-down approach as outlined. We want to enable traceability, we want to ensure that we bring in success criteria, and also ensure that we partner in or bring in stakeholders that are equipped with different expertise related to problems that we want to deal with as student leadership. So, we as the GS26 here, we are saying that our aim here is to advance, or rather we say the generation of stakeholder value, by making sure that we engage with university admin to leverage resources, to bring in new initiatives or new ideas or projects that are going to be established in the center of excellence. So what am I saying? We have 3 points or 3 priorities under the reset multiple agenda. We are looking at student empowerment, we are also looking at student life development, and also looking at corporate social responsibility and or community engagement. So here are the points from the Ministry of Student Affairs. Firstly, we are going to establish what we call Kgwebo Letlotlo. What is Kgwebo Letlotlo? So here, Kgwebo Letlotlo, we are saying that we have realized that in the University of Botswana, the student businesses are not empowered. So through the business clinic that we already know is existing, we are going to ensure that all business ideas that are registered through the business clinic. And also, we are going to partner with the local enterprise authority to incubate such ideas and make sure that we assess thoroughly these business ideas, and hence lead to us heavy business that will be registered under the SRC, SRC. So with Kgwebo Letlotlo, through different initiatives that the UBSRC has, which uses to raise funds. For example, we have the Freshers Ball, we have the Mr. and Miss University of Botswana, we have the newly opened student bus. Funds raised from these projects or these initiatives, we are going to ensure that we, one, loan the students, businesses, two, fund the businesses of the students. So with Kgwebo Letlotlo, now that we would have incubated, or now that we would have made sure that the businesses that are included, even policy or the policy that advocates or stands along these businesses, we are going to establish what we call the Student Entrepreneurship CBD. So with the Student Entrepreneurship CBD, this is where all these student businesses, moderator, are going to be grouped, or it's like so you may ask, how is Student CBD going to be running? Firstly, we are going to, as we are saying, one of our priorities is the corporate social responsibility. We're going to outsource or seek for donations for different cabins that are going to be located. There's a very open space by 244 there. So that is where the student CPG will be located. We have different student businesses. We are looking at the nail techs. We are looking at we are looking at the hairdressers. We have them in the University of Botswana, but they cannot do hair blowing, the air dryer, the air fryer in the residential box because of the electricity in our residential blocks. So that we deal with this is now why we established the Student Entrepreneurship Central Business District. That is also making sure that we engage with the different stakeholders, governmental entities, different private companies to help us boost these businesses, to help us facilitate training for such students or for such student business owners. We don't only want us to be students who just come here, get a degree, and go out. You don't even have other skills. We all know that we might be heavy. So here, we want to empower the students. Instead making sure that Leha Uchaha is a degree holder, your business is already registered outside. That is why we want to bring in parastatals, we want to bring in these government entities like Bolibolia, like Osita, into action. And then we have the Mato Connect initiative. But I would like to also highlight that building this manifesto, we made a draft house to house, ascertaining different problems that the students may be facing. So why did we come up with the Mato Connect initiative? We came up with the Mato Connect initiative after realizing that we have an accommodation crisis. We are looking at students in off campus, right? We are on campus, but next academic year, we are off campus. So with our Mato Connect initiative, we are bringing on board administration. We are also bringing on the real estate owners. The outgoing president, has brought on board, discussed such, so that we make sure we try by all means outsource accommodation on what we call the student villages. You can agree with me, that you realize that we have student villages at universities like Witwatersrand in Johannesburg. So we want to adopt such policies, or we want to adopt such initiatives to assist the University of Botswana students by law. For example, you might be a real estate owner, you own maybe 4 flats for solo fair. How about then we bring you on board to say, you realize that we have four flats. At a discounted price, 4x2. Because we all know those places that are about 4.5, 5,000. The students cannot afford, right? So how about then now we try to advocate, or we try now to have an agreement on such. That is Mato Connect initiative for you. And then another one is the issue water and sanitation services in the University of Botswana, or rather I would also add the electricity issues in our blocks. We know we have a problem with our maintenance department, right? You go there as a resident assistant and tell them that block 444, the draining, they are full, right? They will tell you, no, Bazara, something leakage, or Bazara, something punches, right? Now, what are we saying? We are saying still under this corporate social responsibility priority, we are bringing on board different companies, be it private, be it government, to say adopt a block initiative. You adopt a block, you assist that block with different services that you can offer. If you are paper butter company, for example, and you offer cleaning or you offer drainage services, we bring you on board. That is another initiative that we are bringing in to deal with the problem, water and sanitation. Now, moving on to the students' empowerment moderator. That's another priority that we as the GS26 come with under our research multiple agenda. We have what we call the Connected Leadership Program. You know, we want to bring in different alumni or different companies to come here and empower us as leaders. We have realized that we call ourselves, or some people call themselves leaders, but they lack leadership skills, right? You call yourself a leader just because you are able to push a negative narrative on Facebook or on TikTok or whatsoever platform that you may use. You call yourself a leader, at the same time, you are involved in different criminal activities. So we want to bring in different companies to say now, connect us. Let us be equipped with leadership skills. After all, we are going to graduate and go out and face the corporate world. Which company are you going to join if you have better record of leadership? So this is what we are coming with from the GS26. Another one under this empowerment is the affirmative action for marginalized groups. We have seen recently some posts have been circulating around social media platforms, people being accused of who they want to be, people being accused of their sexuality, people being accused of their disability or whatsoever. So we were saying that we are bringing in affirmative action. Now we are saying that we want to empower these people, give them space, give them leadership roles, give them a platform for them to showcase what they have. And stop this, whatever you call discrimination, stigmatization, or labeling, gender labeling, whatever you can call it. So this is what we are bringing in on board again. And then we have the student life development and well-being.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Your time is up. Moving on to what's that one? Right? The floor is yours.
Hi, Morale.
High discipline.
Yes, not talk about this year. Rather, we rise as one. Let's rise as one. We have inclusivity and empowerment. Those are my key interests as the incoming Minister of Student Affairs. Inclusivity in the sense, often off-campus students, they feel left out and they feel for a SRC only advocates for on-campus, who within the boundaries of the campus and outside the Mohobo. And I'm not going to sugarcoat or do anything, say use fancy ways to try to run away the travel is about to. But it's Matate and Matatar Mohon, and you cannot be a solution in zero Matatahat. I'm going to take you back. It's in the first year in 2021. The government once posted for it. They will introduce the student discount card. Even now, something they will say, but watch a match about that pay. Viva student power, viva! We are going to promote and improve student entrepreneurship with tailored support and resource for student-led businesses. How can level on the Subvention Fund Act? SRC ka Subvention Fund e support the business tsa baithuti. Ha gona go pega go ganela. Ga gona go ga tshwana go simolola ditokolo gape le re a dire freshers ball ha go re ka ticket re ta supporta baithuti ka madi a. No, we can directly re tsa madi a Subvention Fund e re supporta baithuti. Yes, how draft a budget you can support baithuti from the get go. Ka gore madi a ticket rights o ra na hela kae. Batho ba bumile mo ba kgwetsa dikolo ba nonne. Viva student power, viva! Then again, we are going to forge partnerships with external investors to augment housing options. Comrades, by the Matadi and Masatar Mohona, keep us where it. University of Botswana. Naganara research, but Nara research. University of Botswana has been operating an operational budget only. Because Pusori Busani, Hababa him not a budget and maintenance, Hababa have budget their development. Salaka Hutile, Reka Hongomasan Salomona, no Hutile, that space, Yepoil, Honana giving Mr. Asposiki, it's in some Abalati, but no Hutile space said, what does what you broke Hokita, Mato for Vanaba school, Humpeno Vanavana Mudikumu, of which is not a pleasant thing. We are going to augment our housing options. Every day, we still see more when talks, but our own multi-race on a having, but never into the mode. not only that, for rara batala ba ithuti go rokwele be re ba lathela go nya re bone ntwe go tlo etsa mana a re hello re mo na ba ithuti ra e bile nna ka the landlord se re buile le bone right now their housing since government they busa e paletswe e bile go maintain thulaganyo le rena lone ya sim card tsa data because gona na mouth camp ba ta ba robala mo sekolo only to access the internet re kupile the landlord go reng ba tsenye di Wi-Fi and rona as SRC are se no buna re ba mona ba ithuti rare one ba dita ba irwa go freshers ball and all these events tsone di block tsone di multi tsone di selected gore ba ithuti ba nne go tsone ta be re thusa go duela Wi-Fi re subsidizer on behalf of ba ithuti so that moithuti a heme that danger ya go ta re tse masego a tla sekolo go ta go isa computer ba thana le computer go la fe computer ya utsuwa simply because of internet there re tsenya netan botshelo jwa moithuti mo diphatseng. Viva student power, viva! Viva student power, viva! Yes, re lo go mona ba ithuti ntse re tsweletse rare le motho wa megare mo lebane. We are going to provide complimentary sanitary pads mo di blogong. Harare mongwe le mongwe ra go monela o reitse rare ra go baya mo di bathroom go in some designated areas ke tsona go 247 go library jalo le mo di blogong tse dingwe to supplement tse ba setseng bana le tsona. Viva student power, viva! Viva! Re tsweletse ntse re ba mona ba ithuti rare re lemogile gore there is a problem where it's growing and banna bangwe ba re ke ditharabolo but I believe we can ditharabolo. There is I don't know, you can call it a separation or a gap. Rona ba mona ba ithuti rare ba ta go bridge that gap between local and international students. Kwa lo wa bekele beking ngwaga le ngwaga and even as in positions of leadership, ba ritela motho a betswe bile le hore ke ane ke rona ba bile ra khwetsa re go pele but we are leadership. We should understand that international students, they are unlike us. They are in a foreign country. They are unlike us. Havana that one DTF haiba berekile hole. Right? We cannot say nagili minister student affairs ya go rekela DTF. What about Banaba international? Right? We are going to bridge that gap. We need first for read to our university is a university. A universe is a place where we have different people from different cultures. We need to have a culture day. Read to the socialize, right? Culture day is run parallel to student welfare. Those events. Let's sanction them. SRC. They want to about international students, international community, right? And there is a problem because simply because the position had the RA, right? They are not available. Imagine one as to as far as I so I think you let man know what's happening. As to Palama, so I think may know that what I am in a few more days or I don't know one RA, right? Rather but about digitalize the student the residential block management system. You can sign out online, you can sign in online. In as much as the register are online, Viva student power, viva! Viva! Happens digitalization as well. It's because we live in an industry where but we are still big models that people again. You report for the socket that people are you are going to stay there about 2 weeks until we meet in Nathan. Response or action oriented by maintenance. But the problem as what about maintenance is the long chain of command. But how on a catalog more on the side that's going to block 463, room 112. The politician and then maintenance they directly come there. Or cut this long chain of command or chain of authority or follow right. It broke my heart. Get an to living conditions. one of the aspiring doctors. But from the other room, who connected home, that's because those students are ignored. And only Neremo puso yung one in the Lorne, the Tatayana, Minister Arifeke, Nakila, or Kona, community in general, one in a national way, one in a Cancele. Yaka, letting when Rengo may go you say you're a leader, but we're not interested in so, Honomo, look on talk about roads in Edito because you cannot leave. I will say for a Levatina room on this Gachale, Mohalo Hetayana. And then again, whenever I was saying to me, they have to come, but they knock off late, go safe. In partnership with the Minister of Justice, we are going to advocate for at least what's district like because I don't believe for Kapal as much as the minister as possible. Viva student power, viva! Viva! Viva student power, viva! Viva! My fellow comrade Rengo Marene is an advocate for mental health. We are going to prioritize mental health because we are going to prioritize mental health with comprehensive support services. We are going to call seminars. We are going to educate and empower students. Psychology. We empower them for a seminar and say, right? And if more is enough, we can call the public speakers and the motivational speakers. Okay.
See, you are contributing to our and once we assume that role of our student affairs minister.
Okay. Thank you for the floor, sir. 13-0.
Checkmate.
13-0.
Checkmate.
Guys, as GSM X UBCD, we are a movement which aims at ushering a new dispensation. We aim at bringing change to the student. Selo sa moithuti yo ndango tokwe bua ka selo sa moithuti o nna mo madikolo o bua ka selo sa moithuti e leng gore gana transport allowance enough ya gore e ka motega go tsweng off campus go tokweng go tla kwa re bua ka moithuti e leng gore wa walk from here to tokweng a sena madi a transport a hedi ka jalo ba ka itso ga ke na go boela go morago o bua ka increment ya allowance. That is the first thing and the main thing say we transfer by now abaselela I give allowance increment or something that is impossible. I might highlight that it has happened before. The reason why we are getting 1.9 right now is because of our former or our chair. Who is now our chair? Can I please have the floor? It's my floor, guys. Respect. So guys,
sorry.
I'm not going to hold on talking about
sorry. Can get some senturo or I get a copa or include. Then set precedents. I want to go like that in the same respect. Please.
Okay, sir. Thank you. So as I was saying, our chairperson, Sir Prosper Lorato, he also played a role in making sure that the allowance had an increment. It was a time in which you might highlight that there was inflation of prices. There was also change of cost of living, which were rising. It was a time when petrol prices were rising, transport money was increased, and the student had to struggle the most. we suffer the most because we are the ones who need transport the most. So I won't hold back, because if you might highlight, this year we are affiliated by national elections also. So we are hoping to change the governance that has already been operating up there, so that we can at least hope for the new governance to bring change, which is the allowance increment for the students. I'll also talk about timely accreditation of off-camp balances. When I talk about off-camp balances, I talk about manual off-camp transport money and I deduct every time and it makes the student to make debts, because we go for loan sharks, and then what initiative we are bringing? We want to, as an engineer, I know how a database operates. So we came up with an initiative where the off-camp student, they never apply for accommodation. Because they never bother themselves. So we also have attachment allowances. The student but they have affected because they end up making debts, like I'm saying. I'll talk about development and promotion of student business and policies. Development of student businesses. Business exists. How do we aim at the business? It is an environment beyond academic environment. So, as I'm saying, when I'll be the business seminar, attend, but they don't have the money, enough money about the attend. But there are also university organizations telling what this one the aim of the business. These are initiatives as UBCD, XDSM, attend the business seminar, start the business. As an engineer, we aim at making a platform by Tuti can easily access the location. You might find a student there, a certain thing, but then as a success, so it is a possible thing that as an engineer I know it's possible to implement. So the student policy, we want to create a policy that benefits the student most. The student allow you that is only thing I will highlight about student policies, not much. I want to advocate for timely resolution of maintenance issues. As a Minister of Student Affairs, it is very disheartening that when I went around campus, on campus accommodation, I saw their statuses being a disaster. We are an institution which aims at meeting a certain level, or we say we are a high institution of learning. We must expect the accommodation status to be at least to a certain level. But it is very disheartening that we find accommodation statuses in certain blocks. These are not sent there. The ablution is one, they are not looking nice. Metagasi, the Wi-Fi is one, when you talk about timely resolution, I also talk about computer segment 247. They are not operating. But we have so many students buying on the computer. Why not fix those computers for the similar rana or to similar diris? I'll also advocate for information on course accreditations and effective course marketing. But so as I've highlighted, we are living in a time of change, where tomorrow you wake up, you find something different. So as you may highlight right now, the BSc General has been divided, which is shocking, or we never expected that move. So I'll try to highlight that you might think that change accreditation is the college what the course accredit. Who would imagine that? So we want to advocate for information, sit down with certain stakeholders who have information on this course accreditations for it. What is it being looked into for what the course accredit you? You don't know. restoration of internet SIM cards to access online attendances. This one in collaboration with my academics, in Minister for Academic Affairs, Comrade Asante Monyati. We aim at implementing the internet data SIM cards. We want to bring them back because they help the students better. Because right now, if you look into it, the problem is that the students go into expending themselves in the same allowance that is little also. For data, the internet is not also working. Malabaka Friday I was in Vegas. The Ethernet cables didn't connect the Wi-Fi at all. It was very disheartening because the students wanted to learn. I'll also conclude the sponsorship and extensions. I'm from a faculty which is not named for FD, which is engineering. So when I talk about extension, he's already working. He's already engineering and carry. Because they are school or Raja. That is also a point I advocate there. There should be discount on tuition fees, especially the core subjects, and especially for self-sponsored students, because we believe it is too much for them. So if at least they can get discounts in multi-core subject thing, also for the extensions, if DTF can sponsor students for extensions, they should be able to afford sponsoring themselves for those core subjects to complete their course. Risk sponsorships. When I talk about risk sponsorships, people are going to think, unfortunately, fair and square, not cheating. So, people are going to ask who. So I told you from the beginning that we are living in an affiliated world. This year it's very much on the national election. So we hope for the new government it should at least sponsor students for the. So concluding, I would like to also highlight our movement, which is GSM XUBCD. GSM XUBCD is a movement it wants to give back at the students, and it aims at eradicating your problems. We to call a thing, it's a get what I did what I say, so what's one thing, what's a Yamotalaming, sailing so as a GSM XUBCD. 13-0, checkmate. And then,
maybe what I could do before we get into the next segment of our proceedings is for the it's important that you guys listen to what they are saying. It's also important that right? So moving on, we're going to ask you guys questions in relation to what you just presented to us, question in relation to whatever it's needed to know about the student affairs portfolio. And I'd also like to, at this point in time, ask this is your chance, this is your time to send in questions to the comment section. We'll get assistance from one of our students inside. So, say, you spoke a lot to issues of academic affairs. You spoke quite a lot to issues of academic affairs, your course activities, yeah, and quite a number of things. Because I don't know how the provision that the SRC constitution says that we have to do with the day-to-day grievances. And maybe another one. We are going to create a student.
Can I have the question again?
You spoke a lot about issues of academic affairs. We must address the day-to-day grievances because it seems like what Sono is with regards to something that happens in a long term, not the short term era. And then I would also want to speak to what you said, that you want to create a student police. Create I do not bring in something substantive to say it's more intentionally get that I can have to go create. So those are the two questions. Can you please address them? And yeah.
Okay, I'll start with creating the business policy one. My point says development and promotion of student business and policies. So I don't know if I use the word create wrongly or it was wrongly interpreted. But we aim at development and promotion of student businesses. I don't know if it's
yeah. How about
I'm not creating, I'm promoting. Error. I'm saying my point says development and promotion of student businesses and policies. We are not creating, we are promoting the policies. We want policies that favor the students. We want policies that allow students to do what they want with their businesses without any restrictions. So, like it's, that's my thing, yeah.
You still have another one? You still have another name to address the other question.
Okay. The other one, yeah, accreditations, which is a long term, and the day-to-day, my tata will tell what about visa. I cannot wait at all because as I'm saying, because of course accreditation, it's a long term. They already debate arrangement, the meeting has information together with my Minister of Information and Publicity, Mr. Zoe. Information is actually about cost accreditation, the effective cost marketing. Remember that I'm not alone in the movement. So I have a team that is willing to help, that is willing to strive for the students, that is willing to fight for the students. So DSM XUVC is a movement that aims at fighting for the students. We fight for what you want. Thank you.
Moving on to the what? You are going to signing out the website, right? How are you going to make sure that you are implementing that and it will be effective?
Okay. I trust for student delivered harassment. How effective because it's effective register online for our courses. And
like, how are you going to make sure that it is effective?
Your question was, is it going to be effective? My answer is, it's going to be effective covering register online for our courses, and it's something they'll say research. I'm not saying so over Cloud9. It's something achievable, right? In as much as how can level a catalog in our school, the UB website, only catalog SRC. People don't know. Catalog it's just for the IT, they activate that catalog and then sign out. In as much as I don't want to apply accommodation in the that section you're signing in and signing out. It's not a hassle. Student welfare, we sit down, we talk, and what the local how through that the remote area in
your minute to respond is over saying.
Thank you,
but maybe just to add on that, now we are kind of ensuring effectiveness. Already systems are with the email. Hari register na go tsengwe go tshwantswe go emela go batho ba go tsege ha re bata gona gore go me re check matshwao tshwantswe go emela batho ba go tsege. So already the system is failing. You want to burden the system with more programs. I think how do you ensure that it comes in from that, but you'd address that and then my two questions would be, you mentioned external housing options. o bua gone gore ga morago ga le mabala o bua gone gore gape we have since talked to different individuals as well to attend to that construction of residential plots. I remember we had a term review le re tsia mo bareng ba du sa nice ben le gone gore go lo ha university ya Botswana ke yone go lagantseng le ba and he is trying to facilitate where now we bule le batho ba ba gore ba dahana so ba data ga se go loha inki substantive because I'm getting two different issues from the same people from the same political party movement. And then we mentioned issues of bridging the gap with international students, we have cultural events and whatnot. So there's Minister of Entertainment and Culture. I think the constitution is there. So we have to how are we going to see you working hand in hand with the Minister of Entertainment? So because it's 3 questions, you have 3 minutes to answer. Okay. Yes.
The first question, you have a system email or a system since on SRC, we have the student interest at heart. The student has a sign out who do it to 600. The Hobotoka system email than which doesn't go to. Hobotoka system email than which doesn't go to. But Harari meets a system, Rohono prolong the signing out period over a Harrow system, but have seen what the Horon so sign out the hell until by Tibaho Helen. That way, system can have a breather. It's noted again. And yeah, the housing options. You didn't catch me quite well. Take over again. Hogwa university Salakana ya Borongoma since we go Monabe to the Sansi Minister. Pela have resign. University of Haline lowering it's in the block, residential blocks. Karanabanali, Kisinzama Avala because Nigli Minister Sports one space, right? Housing options in Nigaka, Nico Lahore. Can our database at landlord around Kaburoli, right? We are in talks. We're in talks, Lebone. We're in talks, Lebone. Honan as we speak. The available houses, Wi-Fi, security, fencing, listen what they say. Zero worry. Because we don't share like 2 doors. In the meantime, since the university of which I think that I graduated in a but it was nothing. That was it. And that question I didn't quite.
That question speaks to bridging the gap.
Oh, yes. SRC or function isn't the ministers they have to work together as a collective. I get it. I don't know what I'm SRC, the Minister of Entertainment, Nella Hali, Yellow Nella Hali, Karahono Savabay, right? But no common way to in collaboration with Minister of Entertainment, in collaboration with Student Fellow, annually host the cultural event. Tabi give a galabo in a sense, Retiama with that going Minister of Student Affairs and Cyber in the Lavatova, student welfare, right? So not only through the event, sometimes it doesn't have to be an event. We can have seminars to teach, to the different people that are in university, from different cultures, from different countries. And it takes a smart person to know what does a university mean and what does a university mean. Thank you.
Moving to Remboma, how do you plan to support student clubs and organizations to ensure that they have the resources they need, right? And also, how are you going to make sure that all students will get the chance to get the initiative of Kabel we get the chance to have the funds from the initiative of Kabel program? How do you plan to support student clubs and organizations to ensure that they have resources needed for them to thrive?
I think maybe I could also add 2 more questions so that maybe I have flow. people who are panel, got the flow, or the one back outside the photo, you got the photo go by right? So all I know we are coming to connect. No, we are going to I need to let the whole Nakawa give 4.5. And 90 people because we say they should be subsidized in some manner. I don't know what you mean. And what I mean, I'm being unreasonable in that regard. It reflects the age 4.5 kind of 5,000 as a market price. If you're not having acquisition quotas, Bembaman go to the Bogigi Yam, I don't know that 1.9, when I really got 2,000 day, Mamota, that's 1,000 to more than 1,000, right? And then you also spoke to an issue of marginalization. You know, I'm very interested in knowing how then do we give the marginalized a platform? Because how then do we give the marginalized a platform? So with those 4 questions, then I'll give you the following and say. It's a minute to respond to each question.
Okay, thank you. Firstly, that's not the student clubs, right? Which were asking how I'm going to support them to ensure that they thrive. You should understand that the student club in the University of Botswana are affiliated under the Secretary General, right? So, okay, under the Secretary General of the SRC. So, I think every academic year there is a communication that is issued to the student clubs for them to apply for funding. Again, they apply for funding for different activities where they submit different proposals or different activities that they want to do. Again, the funds are limited. Again, so we understand that currently in the University of Botswana, the club is not allowed to source out funds outside school. Why then we allow to source out funds? So this is how we are going to ensure the clubs are actually empowered. But you should understand the student clubs currently they have a funding through the Student Representative Council under the Secretary General. I hope I have answered your question. And then there was a second question in how am I going to ensure the students' businesses, the student businesses they get funds right from the Lord. Remember when I was giving my manifesto, I told you through the Lord, there's going to be what we call assessment of these business clubs. We're going to adopt, if at all you know, we're going to adopt your criteria is currently being used under the Chema initiative. So we want to adopt that criteria to say the sound businesses ideas on board. Let us look into them, let us assess them, and leave these student businesses dealing more within the university campuses. For example, you can't open a butchery in the university, right? So this is some of the things that we are going to be looking at when we are dealing with the initiative. And then moderators say about to connect to the flat 4.5 subsidized. Am I unreasonable about saying that? As I have mentioned under the Macro Connect initiative, I've told you guys, I am taking over from the outgoing president. He has brought these people on board. Apex properties, Maruping real estate. They have been told this is the memorandum of understanding. Read it. If you are interested in giving back, as I've said, in giving back to the community, you can do so. I hope I've answered you there. And then you asked me about marginalization. I highlighted, I emphasized when we say marginalization, we want to bring in an affirmative action. We are saying that we want to give them space through leadership, through showing their talents in different initiatives, be it an event. MC event LGBTQ That is the affirmative action we are talking about. Accepting people of their conditions, accepting people on how they want to live their lives without stigma, without discrimination. I want to believe that I've answered you both moderators and viewers at home. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes. Moving on with our program. It's our candidates alone. It only had 2 minutes each so that you guys can ask them questions. 2 questions, 2 minutes. So, the question is alone. Each candidate, each question, I think each candidate, each question, right?
No, I think it's unto them. You can use the 2 questions, say you are from a different political party than you can ask him the 2 questions, and you can ask someone a question and the other person a question. So you guys have a minute to speak to both those 2 questions. Yeah, are you ready to ask your question, sir?
Yes.
Okay, Erra. A minute to ask both questions. Yes.
Okay. We change the moderator. No, the 2. No, the 2. Put the 2 questions, 2 minutes. Right there, right? Just right. Put the 2 questions, 2 minutes.
President, 2 minutes for the 2 questions. So,
yes.
Question you are looking
Okay. Everyone here present in Mera. Sometimes to Rawa equality. Niger Kopawore, Harita drafted the manifesto. Next time we should get Taha because we not history. We are in a university. We cannot come to say no worry. Get a go junior. Those who do later. A question Indeed, you can see what this is a generational mission again. We are talking about things still over. You had your Minister of Student Affairs under your movement. For the past 4 years that have been in UB, Monawe today has been dominating student politics. So what is it? We need practical initiatives, more. Apart from those lies that you are telling us, those false hopes that you are giving us. Even last year when the students gave another chance, nothing has changed. So how are we to trust you? Because you've been dominating student politics for the past years and nothing has changed in UB. So what's happening?
Thank you.
I get to our ways.
Dumela. Botswana ke ba gantse le mokaoleng wa rona from ona ba ithuto e phithileng ka bothibidu re ngoma. Good dog work affirmative action by the GS 26 on protecting the marginalized communities, of which in the mission of Botswana is inclusive of international students. But how can you guarantee that you're going to protect them? Your fellow comrades, you have a better masses. Your very same comrades, get out in the police, a better maswat, you don't know what is a perpetrator. How do you have people just your own cabinet and say you're going to protect people? That's the first question. The second question goes to also you, Rengo. Comrade, I don't know if you don't read Ghana. As it stands, the University of Botswana clubs are in their need, and they're allowed to seek sponsorship elsewhere. So my question then becomes, are you aware of the provisions of the constitution of the UBSRC? How are you going to ensure that all those things only work, some of which are constitutionally practical, but would apply constitution is happening? Thank you.
The last one.
One page.
Are you from the?
I'm from UB.
Yes. It's open to political party. Are you from a political party?
Go on one right now. At first, said it's open.
Dumelang comrades. Say what I mean we share. Ya go mono ba ithuti. Comrades se botshepa. Ke batla o tlhaloganya se.
comrade Motsekwe, how Buaka commercializing? We need to understand that the University of Botswana is not a commercial area. It has been approved of recent, but the venues of Buangaton have not yet been approved. Approving even up to now. We can even go to student welfare and get the relevant documents on that. We cannot say that we want to empower businesses when we are giving students false hope. This thing has been there. Every single politician who has been coming, to empower the students to get business this thing has been there. This cry has been there. It is something that everybody here wants to see because we want to empower all of us. But then we are not sure if this thing is practical. All I want to ask for you is assurance. Deputy Director of Campus Services, it has been given a unit whereby the University of Botswana wants to commercialize itself. They want to centralize this place. Business center, those are the only 3 places that are given for student empowerment. Not one, not anywhere else. Thank you.
So, comrades, can you please respond to those questions? Can you please go first, sir?
Oh, yes.
But because I agree, you have how many questions do you have? Whichever question you have, it's a minute to address each question.
I think I have 2 questions. Yes, 2. Okay. The first question is about Mr. Cancelo. Yes. Are in the winner student affairs, that going minister student affairs, we should understand what my fellow candidate, Mr. Ngoman, and reference the outgoing president, Mr. Matamaki Vizela, who will leadership, there is no such. Don't forget an Iberia outdoor. And the maturity at Rasaberek leadership. Tiamo Badubi did his part, even though Anna as a presidio, I did my part. The ministry thought Neruku Pile a budget Arna those in a plan motion planning, didn't you, Anna, Mr. Matamaki Vizela, investor only on entertainment. The Minister of Information, who's more who's the incoming Vice President of Hana, who are the seminar Rakwa, Lebo Jack Dishigwa, Passa to Siba. And the next question is the gentleman, you are wearing suit. You should respect your suit. I've never said I'm commercializing any property in the University of Botswana. I've never. My manifesto, there is no commercialization or whatsoever. Manifesto maybe kwa kumridi abole betso bua umpenta ka penteng so adikwala but kimu blue but it's okay, you are still showing what you are a vision in politics. How you are given a time. Leadership really by to the it's a student-led business, you should know. Where business services here to Mahilano for comrade Dotty Blue Zedihan. Take it in the telephone, get away to we too say. Yes, sir.
No, I don't think there was a question from the floor. It was only a taunt.
It was only a taunt.
Yes.
Okay. Say.
It was a reminder. It wasn't a reminder. It was a taunt.
Comrades. Mr. Ngo.
Okay. The Kibuze put an affirmative action for marginalized communities or other protect the young comrades, we should understand that candidate you are accusing him of Kwanijan has been cleared. Hana criminal record. But you guys had criminal record even of court. Because of you right now. So I guess we are protecting. I guess so here we want to emphasize on you. It's a give affirmative action for marginalized communities. And then you're asking me about reading the constitution. You forget that I once served, even though I served for a month in the SRC. I know the roles of the SRC members. I know the roles of the Student Affairs Minister. So and you told me you say something about reading. We are reading talking about the clubs. So so I guess I have if it was not a question, it was a statement. So with that, can I throw you
Okay, so are you done with addressing your questions?
Yes, I'm done with addressing my questions.
Are there any questions from the live?
From the line.
From the live, are there any questions from the live? Are there questions from the live? Can you please check if there are questions on the live, say? Check if there are questions on the live. Hey, there's a question from one of the student body representatives, is from UBRedo. Can you please introduce yourselves and ask your question?
Okay, so I'm coming from UBRedo. My question is directed to two political movements we have here, which is GS26 and Mona by 2. But I want more emphasis from the GS part mostly. Have you considered the value of property in Botswana? This coming from the fact that you mentioned how you guys are going to be adopting apartment policies for students. So I want you to tell me with the 350 or so fee per semester. I don't know, but here, with the 350 at the moment, how will the macro initiative then be friendly to the university management and the student at large? Because you guys some other big property companies. When talking about community social responsibility, we are talking about now I give a large value of property just like that to the community. We have to consider some stuff and some values of CSR. So how is this going to be effective?
Okay, thank you. So can you guys address the questions asked?
Let me firstly acknowledge the question and make it clear. The very same the small multi-res plots, didn't said 1,000 we approach the landlords on it, right, to bridge that gap. I get to the level of animal conditions in young, right? Some are exploited. If you are going comrade movement, my dear one at last, the balance, right? Now, good balance this as an Mr. Student Affairs. I can write from the SRC office, came which are like an current of on a day. Ribu, I didn't let my double freshers Boloyana. I know by Kibana Mumahiro Abba Pidiniana, Ragatina on good Wi-Fi. To better the conditions of living right? We are not selling drinks, they are not achievable, right? By two it's because of the little allowance you and get the current government salary, you advocate again the GS26. It's a different but Ronawi we know. Salakaremi for student discount prices. Hey, but Chamacha by two by it's fine.
Mr. Bob, you have a question from the gentleman.
Okay, let me start here, Rewa journalist. As we said, the Macro Connect initiative, or maybe you are emphasizing on the example I was giving, I guess. So as we said, the Macro Connect initiative, we are going out to outsource potential real estate owners. We want to also to bring them on board. Jaga, the outgoing president to say, no, now we've identified you guys for it, you have accommodation. Why can't we have what you call student villages? Okay, we have certain number of students who are residing at Chufel, for example, or who are residing only in Kakweng, for example. So that is what the Market Connect initiative is all about. Bring on board both the estate owners as well as the university administration to discuss such. And if there is need be for the memorandum of understanding where we now have to discount prices, if you don't know what we implement
Yes.
Thank you.
Mr. Ngoma, hona na ke tlo go lenela 2 minutes each to wrap up. Why should they vote you late? Thank you. Mr. Monsech.
And my fellow comrades, we are rising as one. Inclusivity and empowerment. We are going to include Mount Kempo, international community, and everyone. And I plead with you, vote for Monabai Tuti, not only for me, because I'm living, right? Vote from the president to the last minister, and we are in sync. I preach what Topo preaches. I preach what Montasi Masala preaches, right? And Olumui Tuti, and an African child to our other international students about Mosaic and across Africa. You should know we have a common ground, which is poverty. And poverty, I think, it calls you at heart, they will supplement you more. Get the current governance, we have shortage on allowance. You should know what killing minister all I can do is to go there and advocate for. But Puso and I'm not the minister of for the minister of basic education, right? So you should know what Rabachincha Puso, Momo University na blue, and then later on October the country becomes blue. Right. Vote Monabai Tuti and make a right choice. Thank you so much. Yes. I'm going to work out. Can I let us go on? Sorry. Go to our academic dishonesty.
Thank you, sir, for the floor. We as DSM XUVCD, like I was saying, we aim at advocating for change. We aim at ushering a new dispensation. So, I cannot talk about past leaders, but some of them we don't know them. Cannot mention them. But we say vote for change, vote for new members, vote for new people who are ready to fight for your struggles. Right now, as DSM XUVCD, Rutumela Mokoreng, Mituti, Oswanese or I empower you, Kadi skilly, Kadi resources, for our honor I kemel. You should excel beyond just academic environment. You should excel also in the business environment. It should be a thing of when you finish school, you should have something to lean on for Okono to survive. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to conclude saying vote for DSM XUVCD, the only movement which matters. 13-0.
Comrades, hey. Also leadership.
The University of Botswana student community, firstly we need to understand that great minds discuss ideas, average minds discuss events, but small minds discuss people. We from the GS26, we are saying that leadership is not about rhetorics or it's not about advocacy. Now we are bringing in action as the GS26, a remedy to the struggle that other movements are preaching. So ladies and gentlemen, we are saying that collaborate, go and vote for GS26. We are resetting the university, bringing a new agenda, not only for myself, but for the Democrats across all 12 other portfolios. I take a party. Thank you.
Thank you people for tuning in and watching on our live. We still have 2 portfolios to come. Nali Minister of Academic Affairs and Nali Secretary General. So 5-minute recess and we'll be back. Thank you.